Hello, boys and girls. The word of the day is pegging.
What's up, movie lover badasses? Fat Samurai Guy here and Lady Fat Blood, and today we are going to review Deadpool. Here's a quick plot synopsis. A former Special Forces operative turned mercenary is subjected to a rogue experiment that leaves him with accelerated healing powers, adopting the alter ego, Deadpool. Now we're going to give you the good, we're going to give you the bad, and we're going to give you the badass. First up, the good.
Seeing as how I, for one, do not acknowledge X-Men Origins Wolverine, this is a great start for Deadpool. Everyone came to play on this. If you've been following the saga that has been the Deadpool film, you know that Ryan Reynolds especially has been very passionate about getting this project underway, and he does not disappoint. He came to play. Marina Baccarin? Sorry, lady, if I screwed up your last name. She was actually really good as the hooker / eventual love interest, Vanessa Carlyle. She's kind of plucky. She's sarcastic. You end up kind of really getting to like her eventually, and she's actually really proactive when the shit goes down and she kind of gets abducted. She's not just a damsel in distress. I found it really interesting that there was a line in the trailer that did not make it into the cut of the film where she says, "I played a lot of roles, damsel in distress isn't one of them." Not in the movie, but clearly that was what her character was. And believe it or not, what actually ended up surprising me was the love story was kind of tolerable.
Yay!
You got to know these characters, you know, at first they were just these two crazy people. You know, you got Wade, who's this ex-mercenary who's kind of got the heart of gold thing going on. He's doing these shady things on the side, but they're kind of in the name of good. And you've got Vanessa, who's this, she's clearly got a past, and they have this really fun banter that they start off with each other. We get introduced to them, and then boom, we're right into the sex. We're right into the gratuitous sex montage. And then all of a sudden, there are these moments between them, and they're actually really genuine and likable.
Characters we actually give a shit about? What? A relationship
I guess it
we actually give a shit about?
I guess it happens sometimes.
What?
So we had some actual fun side characters also in Colossus, Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, and Blind Owl. What was really funny was I had never heard of Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, of course. We've all heard of Colossus, but this is actually probably the most faithful adaptation of Colossus that we've seen so far. He was a very small side character in X2, and X3, and even Days of Future Past, where we actually did see him fight more. This is the first time we actually really hear him speak a lot more than just like one or two sentences. And he's got the full-blown Russian accent. He's actually kind of like a Russian Boy Scout in this. He's got some great moments. He does look a little cartoony. You got to remember, this was a $58 million budget.
Woo,
okay,
that's nothing compared to movies nowadays.
Yeah, relatively speaking, this is a very low-budget comic book film. And he looked a little cartoony, I thought, but it kind of worked in this universe with the way everything was so over the top in this movie. It kind of was fine that he was a little more goofy looking.
Mm-hmm.
And on to Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Warhead.
That is a hell of a name.
It's awesome.
What was really funny was these two actually ended up being in the movie a lot more than I thought they were going to be. And it was just fun.
Fun? Fun? Fun with characters in a comic book film? What? Fun?
So, I am not a stalwart, hardcore encyclopedia of knowledge when it comes to the Deadpool character. I've only ever read a few issues of Cable and Deadpool. That's actually where I was introduced to the character, which led me to Hulk Versus, where we had a really fun, just ridiculous time with the Deadpool character in animated form in one of the stories there. So I don't know all of the snippets and the ins and outs of the history of Deadpool, but I have been reading up on it just out of curiosity to see where this movie came from. And from what I can tell, this movie seems to have done a really good job of amalgamating the different stories and histories of Deadpool. So I found it interesting that this movie, they did a really good job with taking elements, twisting it, making it into their own, and presenting the audience with something that kind of your layman can come in and watch and they're fine with it. And I think a lot of fans are going to come in and go, you know, I understand that this is not verbatim what Deadpool might have been in the past, but the spirit of Deadpool is alive and well in this film. The humor, of course, is juvenile, it's crude, it's over the top. There are fourth wall breaks everywhere, and that's exactly what we want out of a Deadpool film. And frankly, I feel this is as good as it will ever get for a Deadpool origin film.
Now for the bad.
Some of the jokes are a little too current for my taste, and they are not gonna hold up in another 2, 5, 10 years. Some of the best comedy out there is the type that lasts for decades, that lasts virtually forever. You don't have to Google the reference to get what the hell it means, and I see that happening with this movie. But not all the humor is like that, fortunately, but, you know, it is what it is.
Now, we didn't have any issues with the main villain, but I guess the villain could be looked upon as kind of weak. I think in the comic book movie universe, everyone's still spoiled by Heath Ledger's Joker and, of course, Tom Hiddleston's Loki.
Yeah, I feel villains are almost always going to be harder to get right.
Oh, yeah.
As it seems to be more important to get the protagonist right, where the villain just ends up getting sidelined so that he can get the job done. And in this case, that's exactly what he is. He's stock villain number 12, but does he get the hero to where he needs to get by the end of the movie? Yes. Mission accomplished.
Now, we didn't have any issues with the shift in tone in this film at all, okay? We have the over-the-top moments, and then we have our serious moments where the shit gets real. But I think some people might have some issues.
Yeah, this is, it can be kind of jarring. You know, some people, you're gonna have a couple different types going into this. You're gonna have those that just want the exploding heads and the boobies and the sex and all that fun stuff. And then you're gonna have the people who are completely turned off by that, which, it's rated R.
It's rated R.
It's rated R.
I'm sorry. People out there in the world, did you guys all forget what rated R stands for? Did you forget about rated R films or something? Why are people going to this movie and they're just like, well, I never. What blood? What is this blood? Huh? Nudity?
Oh my God, women have boobs! You know, I think people's balls have dropped off.
What happened? Your balls drop off?
Over the past couple of maybe decades, I'm starting to feel like, you know, just because you see a guy in red spandex and you see Marvel stamped on it somewhere does not mean it's for the children. You have the same mindset as the 50-year-olds complaining about video game violence when your freaking 5-year-old grandson has no business playing Grand Theft fucking Auto. Okay, these ratings were created for parents.
Yes, so don't be stupid.
Not people like us who like dumb shit.
Yes.
And who like violent shit.
Yes.
And if you want to throw in some, go ahead.
Yes.
Do what you want. It's rated R. We're all fucking adults here.
Preach it.
Anyway, back to the tone. We just completely went off on our own crazy rating tangent there.
That's what we do.
It's fun. So anyway, the tonal shifts, I've heard some people complain about it, how the action pieces are the best. The intro, I ain't gonna lie, the beginning of the movie was fucking brilliant. I enjoyed the hell out of just the credit sequence. And yeah, it might set the bar a little too high, but it's not like the movie stops dead right there. I feel like if this movie had been nothing but action and violence, everybody would have complained there was nothing but action and violence, and so they threw a story in there, and people are complaining that the story grinds the movie to a halt. Do you want character development or not?
God forbid we have a movie that has it all, has some action, craziness, violence, fun, humor, character development, and a movie with heart. Now for the badass. You see this shit? You see this shit right here? That's right. Represent, that's right. Representing one of the most badass motherfuckers ever created in the fucking comic book fucking medium. You know what I'm saying? We got some kick-ass, badass, okay, action sequences in this film, okay? Deadpool decapitates someone and then fucking sucker kicks their head into somebody else. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we wanted.
This movie more than earned its R rating. It has my balls to the wall seal of approval. We've got the action, we've got the violence, we've got the gore, we've got the nudity, we've got all of the above. There were no punches pulled. I heard that there might, however, be an NC-17/unrated cut.
I approve. We got some brawling beatdown with Colossus.
And we got two super ladies in Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Angel Dust. And we got some nice brawling going on with all parties involved. We are an equal opportunist brawl
That's
fest
right.
here. It doesn't matter. Chick get the shit beat out of her, guy get the shit beat out of him. Everybody, it's a free-for-all. Everybody get the shit beat out of each other.
It's fun.
This was a movie that was very arduous in getting made. If it weren't for the CGI test footage getting leaked onto the internet just a couple years ago, this movie might not have gotten any traction. And this is a real win for the little guy. The movie has already made back more than its budget. I think it's at 286 right now, 286 million at the time, just right now that we're making this video. I gotta say, I am so proud of the filmmakers. I am happy for Ryan Reynolds. You have finally redeemed yourself. It took you 3 shitty comic book films and you finally got your dream gig, and it was fun. There's a lot of sincerity behind this. There's a lot of actual genuine humor. Yeah, there's potty humor. Yeah, there's prepubescent humor in it. But there's a lot of actual humor in it too. For people like us that enjoy over-the-top, just insanity, this is what Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance should have been, okay? This kind of just off-the-wall, chaotic, hysterical. You gotta laugh at over-the-top, brutal violence because shit really happens in real life and you can't laugh at that, but you can laugh at a guy doing a triple headshot on the freeway, okay? You can laugh at stuff like that. This was a triumph for them. Bravo to everybody who went and saw this and
you guys are awesome.
Beefed up basically backing up the fact that there is a market for stuff like this. Comic book films are not just for children. Deadpool has very, very rarely been child friendly. This should never have even been considered. Nobody should ever even thought of making this a PG-13 property. Thank you so much for sticking to your guns, having faith in us, not pandering to all the people who think that, well, I have a child, so everything should be child-friendly. I'm sorry, that is not how the world works.
That's why there's different ratings.
Not created for people like us. It's just something you want to keep in mind is Deadpool, it's not going to be for everybody. If you like raunchy comedy, you might be interested in this, but seriously, if you don't like brutal violence, don't. Just don't. You're gonna get disappointed, you're gonna get disgusted. And don't forget, stay until the end. It's nothing huge, but at the end credits, of course, there's a little bit of a stinger, and we might be getting something grand for a sequel, for the Deadpool sequel. And what's really great is because everybody chipped in, did their part, and got this movie up to where it needs to be to make its money back, they can put more money into the budget for the next movie now.
Fuck yeah.
So we can get everything that we didn't get. This could become something so beautiful. We could have Deadpool on a grander scale, and just imagine what Deadpool with a proper budget could be if they keep the same crew, keep the same spirit of we love Deadpool and damn it, we want to make a movie for the fans. Keep it going. If they do what I hope they're gonna do with this sequel, hot damn, we're gonna have a 5 on our hands.
So we give Deadpool 4.9 out of 5 stars. And it gets our Bat Dance seal of approval. That's it for today's episode. If you have seen Deadpool, let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. And we'll see you guys next time. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe.
Hello, boys and girls. the word of the day is pegging.